This video is going to go over the impact of outliers on data. We're going to talk about what outliers are and how they can potentially impact measures of central tendency, mean, mode, median, and range. So the first thing we need to know, what in the world is an outlier? So let's go ahead and jot down our definition. Outliers are values that literally lie outside of other values. When we collect data, sometimes there are values that are far away from the main group of data. As mathematicians, the question becomes, what do we do with them? Do we delete them from, maybe we're scientists and maybe we decide to delete them from our calculations or from our study? But if we do delete them from our study, we have to be able to justify why, or do we include them knowing that they may skew, alter, or impact our conclusions or the data that we come up with? So for example, if we said that, I don't know, we're talking about pets and we take a survey and somebody's got one pet, another person has two, another person has one, another person has one, someone has two, another person has one, maybe someone has three, and then the next person coming up has 10. And this was probably me growing up. I had so many different pets, especially in my family's gigantic backyard. Lots of little critters. And so if we look at this, if we wanted to take a peek and see which of these data points lies outside of the others, which one does not really go with the others, and of course, maybe someone has no pets. That always happens. This person would be our outlier. This person would be our outlier. Bonham? No lick. Sorry, guys. Okay. Is our outlier. So what we're going to talk about today is how does our outlier potentially impact our mean, mode, median, and range? Or, is there no impact? We're going to come back to this throughout our explanations and throughout problems that involve outlier. Which measure of central tendency is the most impacted by an outlier? And why do you think that is? Which measure of central tendency is impacted the most by an outlier, and why do you think that is? So let's think about it, right? Our outlier is the one that is far away from our data. It becomes either, the highest number by a lot in our data, or sometimes our outlier could be the lowest number in a data set. But again, it's far away. I want you to think about which measure of central tendency deals with our highest and our lowest number. Think about it. Our range. Our range deals with our highest and lowest number. And now that's not to say that our outlier doesn't potentially impact other measures of central tendency, but it has the potential to most impact our range, because our outlier greatly impacts our highest number or our lowest number. For example, if we were going to find the range of our data, not including the outlier, so I'm going to do range without and range with. Okay. Our range goes from 0 pets to 3 pets. Our range is our highest minus our low. So that takes 3 minus 0, which is 3. Our range with our outlier is from 0 all the way to 10. Okay, that is a fairly substantial impact, especially if we're talking about the range of pets, right? It's huge. So just a little nugget on that. We're going to come back to it. So let's take a peek. Identify the outliers in these scenarios. The amounts of pencils students lost in a day. Which one of these numbers stands out? Yeah, 14. It's substantially larger. The number of books read in a year. That smaller number. If we were to put these on a number line, there's going to be a nice little dotted group right over here. And then 4 is going to be all lonely. So 4 is actually the outlier in that group. The ages of people at a ballet performance. The ages of people in a ballet performance. Yeah, we might say that this person that's 98, maybe someone's great grandma. But we might even argue that maybe there's reason to call this, the 6-year-old into question. And someone might argue, well, but that 6-year-old's pretty close to the 15-year-old, and so on. So sometimes there's a little wiggle room, but usually they stick out quite a bit, like someone's great grandma right here. All right, so that's outliers. Data that lies outside of the rest of our data, kind of is where they're kind of grouped together. An outlier can be a much larger number or it can be a much smaller number. And the measure of central tendency that is usually most impacted by the outlier is going to be range, because range is all about the highest minus the low, and our outlier is going to significantly change that higher or lowest number.